Get 3 months of local news for just 99 cents a month. You'll get unlimited access to the news you need to stay engaged and connected to your community. Visit duluthnewstribune.com/subscribe now to get 3 months of local news for only 99 cents a month.
Hello, Northlanders. It's Thursday, May 4th. I'm Wyatt Buckner with your Duluth News Tribune Minute, presented by Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union.
The average MPECU member saves over $785 a year in better rates and lower fees. And with MPECU, every ATM is your ATM. With their free checking program, you get ATM fee reimbursements at any ATM anywhere in the U.S. Check out Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union's services online at mpecu.com or visit their offices in downtown Duluth, Arrowhead Road, or Miller Trunk Highway.
Now here's a look at today's headlines. A sex offender allegedly used a fan motor to bludgeon a security counselor before stomping on his head and bragging about the unprovoked attack, officials said Wednesday. Nicholas Ladle Aaron Jones, 29, has a history as a combative client at the Minnesota Sex Offender Program in Moose Lake, having been convicted of assaulting staff, making threats, or damaging property on at least 5 prior occasions since 2015. However, Monday's alleged assault is believed to be one of the most serious in the facility's 27-year history, leading to a traumatic brain injury that required the 53-year-old employee to be airlifted to an advanced care hospital. The employee was not identified in court documents, and a spokesperson for the Minnesota Department of Human Services, which operates the program, said the agency is not able to offer any update on his condition due to data privacy requirements. A criminal complaint states that the security officer was making his rounds when Aaron Jones approached him from behind and struck him with a heavy object, which was later determined to be the fan motor in a pillowcase. The employee fell to the ground and was unable to defend himself as Aaron Jones swung the weapon at his head and body several more times, the complaint states. The defendant allegedly kicked and stomped on the counselor's head 8 times before being pushed away by other staff and sprayed with a chemical irritant. Aaron Jones, according to documents, was convicted of multiple sex crimes and violent offenses as a juvenile in the Twin Cities area. He has been in local jails, the state prison system, and various treatment facilities since his teenage years, and he is currently under indefinite commitment to MSOP as a, quote, sexually dangerous person, end quote. Human Services spokesman Christopher Sprung said the agency is conducting a review of Monday's incident and offering counseling to employees. Aaron Jones was arraigned Wednesday on charges of attempted second-degree murder and first, second, and third-degree assault. He faces up to 20 years in prison if convicted. He's being held at the Carleton County Jail, with his next court appearance set for May 15th. A mild winter led to lower first-quarter profits for Elite, the parent company of Minnesota Power, but the restart of several large industrial facilities in the Northland will likely bring the rest of the year's earnings in line with expectations. Elite reported first-quarter earnings of $1.02 per share on a profit of $58.2 million, compared to $1.24 per share on a profit of $66.3 million in the first quarter of last year. In a call with investors Wednesday morning, company officials said first-quarter results were down slightly due to a more moderate winter. Minnesota Power reported a profit of $40.6 million in the quarter, down from $51.5 million in the same quarter last year. But last week, 2 large industrial facilities, Cleveland Cliffs North Shore Mining, a customer of Minnesota Power, and Cenovus Energy Superior Refinery, a customer of Elite Superior Water, Light, and Power, announced they were restarting, which will boost earnings for the rest of the year. Frank Frederickson, Minnesota Power's Chief Financial and Strategy Officer, told investors that the taconite industry is benefiting from a strong automotive industry, and the mines are expected to produce more taconite than originally expected. Elite Clean Energy also saw lower earnings, reporting $8.5 million in first-quarter profits, down from $16.5 million in the same quarter last year. Last year's profit was higher as it includes now decommissioned legacy facilities at Northern Wind site in southwestern Minnesota. Like Minnesota Power, Elite Clean Energy was impacted by the weather and higher maintenance and operating expenses. However, the April sale of Red Barn Energy, a 28-turbine and 92-megawatt project in Grant County, Wisconsin, is expected to boost Elite Clean Energy's second-quarter results. Joining us now is Dan Williamson along with a special guest.
Thanks, Wyatt. I'm joined by one of our colleagues, Duluth News Tribune features reporter Melinda Levine. We're speaking over Zoom, and Melinda, there's a story that you're working on that we'll be able to see in Saturday's print edition of the Duluth News Tribune and find it online prior at duluthnewstribune.com. This is about a school of yoga and nature arts up the shore. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, so Teresa Hershey, she is a full-time veterinarian, and she found learning more about forest bathing and yoga and becoming an instructor to be really helpful to her whole health. So after doing smaller classes, she built what is the first of 2 yurts right on the shore up there in Beaver Bay. And this school of yoga and nature arts, there's going to be so many things offered there. There's going to be yoga, forest bathing, Qigong, herbalism. There will be a class about ecological therapy, astronomy. Astro Bob King will be among the instructors. It's really cool, and it's opening in early June.
Melinda, what was your biggest takeaway from this story?
The biggest takeaway, being up there with our photographer, Jed Carlson, this week, we sat with Teresa, like right on the rocks, right on the shore of Lake Superior, and she was showing us a class that she has built up, like food and forest bathing. Hearing more about what forest bathing is, I think a lot of Northlanders and people who visit our area do this, but it sounds like it's being in nature, but just to like the next level. So she had like this little kit of like little finger foods, and she's sitting on the rocks, and she was just talking about how forest bathing is just being in nature, but also really honing in on your senses, really honing in on like how your body is responding to. So it's really like slowing down. And so for class, like food and forest bathing is taking that to the next level.
Very interesting. Melinda, is there something in particular you hope our audience takes away from this story?
I think if anything, I hope they take away, like even if they don't go up there or visit or take a forest bathing class or an astronomy class up there, I hope they take away the next time they're in nature, maybe like slow down and like look at the budding greenery, or just really try to get in your body. I was really interested and kind of refreshed hearing her talk about it. And so, yeah, even if I don't take a class, I hope other readers like me can maybe be a little bit inspired to slow down.
Thank you very much for your time, Melinda.
Thanks, Dan.
And again, you can find Melinda's story in Saturday's print edition of the Duluth News Tribune, as well as online prior at duluthnewstribune.com. Wyatt, back to you.
Thanks, Dan. Now here's a look at your forecast, brought to you by the News Tribune's Northlandia podcast.
Weather for the Duluth area today, looking at mostly sunny skies and breezy. High temperatures a little bit cooler in the low 50s for this afternoon. Chances of rain then move in tonight into Friday, and we'll be looking at the winds picking up, temperatures dropping to the upper 40s, and the rain continues into the weekend. I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist Robert Pointer.
Thank you to the Northlandia podcast for their support. The weekly podcast explores curious and unique stories here in the Northland. Each episode celebrates the region's distinctive people, places, and history. You can find all the episodes of Northlandia at duluthnewstribune.com or wherever you also get this podcast. Reporting for today's episode was done by Tom Olson, Jimmy Lovren, and Melinda Levine. Thank you for listening to the Duluth News Tribune Minute. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.